Lori Clark Viviano joins us here this morning, and we're going to kind of use this case as kind of a springboard for an even bigger discussion. You are involved in this case. I want to say that, right up front.
Yes.
So you have firsthand knowledge, and we'll be careful not to violate the attorney-client privilege. But when these things turn bad, and it looks now like it maybe had to do with him being bitter over the divorce, possibly. That's a possible motive. It can really get dangerous. Obviously.
Right. But I think, you and I talked about this ahead of time is, okay, it can get dangerous. So let's say there was a restraining order involved. How, as you as a police officer, how is that going to stop any of these events?
In a case like this, the restraining order is almost worthless.
Right.
I can tell, and I'm saying this from a police officer's standpoint.
Right.
Not that you shouldn't consider getting one if you want a stay-away order and so forth, but if the person decides to violate it, I don't want you as a police officer, I don't want you to have a false sense of security.
Right.
Because that paper, if you can tape it up on your front door, is not going to stop them from coming in and doing harm to you if that's what they're bent on doing.
Look, I think
it gives us a tool to be able to take them away as a police officer if we get there before something bad happens.
Right. I believe there's like 3 categories. There's the first category, people are getting a divorce, they get all upset and there's pushing and shoving, and I'll sometimes get a temporary restraining order just to, keep everybody calm.
Right.
Usually that works.
But in some cases, have you seen where that is actually aggravated the restrained party?
That's exactly. I'm going to talk about category number 2. In category number 1, usually everybody kind of goes, oh my gosh, what were we doing? And they settle down, it gets dismissed, and you move on. Category number 2, in my opinion, are the dangerous ones that need restraining orders. They are told they can't call, so they get their friend to call, or they stalk and keep the 100 yard distance, or they do all these things. That's when I like a restraining order, because you will call, I will tell them, call the police, you will come out and you'll tell the guy, hey, you do it again, you're going to jail.
Yeah, we don't even do that. Let me just say we're very, very, and for folks that don't know, I work closely with El Cajon. I'm sorry, if you're violating the restraining order, I don't really have the flexibility as a police officer. The judge has ordered that this order be carried out, and so I am responsible for carrying out the judge's order. I don't have the discretion to say, nah, it's okay this time.
Right.
And the interesting thing is, neither does the other party.
Right.
The other party can't say, no, it's okay, he can stay here.
Right.
No, the judge said he can't.
Exactly.
You can't give him permission.
It's the second category that I think needs a restraining order. The third category, which is the one we're talking about, a restraining order is nice and great, and everybody can say, see, I knew that. But, one of the things people have been asking me is, did you see it coming? And the thing that is so scary for me personally is I didn't.
Right.
So, like, we just put a lock on the front of our door at my office. I've been practicing 24 years. I've never felt fear until this happened because I didn't see it. I always think to myself, oh, you'll know. No, you don't know. And that's the part that kind of really instilled fear in me and made me look at it differently and made me look at police officers differently. Like, now I see why they draw their guns when they go to a domestic violence situation, because isn't it more dangerous?
Well, they're all potentially deadly calls, even, the simplest traffic stop or contacting somebody on the street. But with domestic violence situations, people are already ramped up.
Right.
And you'd be amazed how fast the person who has been injured in an incident can turn around on the police officer when the police officer starts to take their significant other away.
Right.
I mean, it's crazy. Emotions are upside down. They don't make any sense. There's no logic to it sometimes at all. Many times there's a real dysfunction going on there.
Yeah, I talked to a psychologist and I said, golly gee, what could have I seen in the future? And they said the problem is people have a bucket of resiliency. And maybe let's take Hans Petersen, his bucket of resiliency was empty.
An interesting way to put it, yeah.
And that's why he did it, because there was nothing going on, there was no event.
There was nothing taking place here in the near future that he was anticipating going poorly or not in his favor?
Nothing.
That we know of.
Right. I literally have not slept for 2 days in my mind thinking, is there something I could have warned someone? Is there something I could have seen? And I can sit here and look at you and say, no. I didn't.
So what's your advice to your clients then?
Well, now I'm changing I'm changing my advice. I think you have to be more, like you said, more security conscious, because getting a restraining order, isn't the end-all be-all that everybody thinks it is.
But again, get one as a tool, because if somebody's standing out on your front step and they're contemplating if they want to take the next step and do you harm.
Absolutely. I'm not discouraging. No,
they're gone.
Look, I'm not discouraging restraining orders. Trust me. But I'm just saying, you need to be more cognizant of, you know, look what he did. He broke through a window. He did it in the middle of the night. You know, I called my daughter up and I said, honey, if you hear gunshots, go to ground, don't stand up.
Right.
You know, I mean, it really changed. I think people need to think about, you know, attending
Anger management.
No, security type things, and
yeah.
anger management too, because I don't know what triggered this, but this is real.
Right.
This is us. This isn't.
Folks, I want to back way off this conversation and end this on a positive note.
Okay, good.
Because the fact is, when you go talk to Lori, she is one of the best at calming things down and taking things down a notch and de-escalating. She will not ramp situations up. I've known you for a long time, and I know that you try very, very hard to get everybody to talk, to get everybody to calm down, be realistic and reasonable, and you do not encourage people to fight, fight, fight. So.
I don't, and as a matter of fact, you know, I think the attorneys do make a difference. I do know that Mr. Peterson has a new attorney who I personally know. I think she's going to make a difference, and I do think it makes a difference.
All right, folks. So if you have questions, anything of a domestic nature, relationship nature, please get in touch with Lori Clark Viviano. A couple of offices that she can see you in around San Diego, and she will make time for you. It's always good to see you.
And now they have a security door.
Yes, you'll be very secure in her building
exactly.
now. All right. If you need more information, you go to san diego6.com. You click on San Diego Living for Lori Clark Viviano.